My introverted small thing changed with two things. Number one, getting into the IS, the cultural shock, and then get into a training institute in Harvard University where they taught me that you have to ask. If you don't ask, you will not get the answers.
And if we look at RWA, the real world asset, maybe you know me as a game development and virtual reality guy. I entered into blockchain in 2016, did some good work in the world. 2018, I was predicting something which is connecting the real world with the crypto world. Nowadays, we call it as a RWA. What if we combine the private and public, both the blockchains coming together, and we decentralize the entire method? Do you feel farmers will get a lot of benefit? Do you feel government will get a lot of benefit? And do you feel the third part of it? Do you feel that that can yield to a better treatment of plants and we can maybe go for organic?
Easy now. Stay calm. All right. Let's walk.
Hi everyone, welcome to Riding Tiger with Arijit, and once again I'm here, but then today I have got a person who don't need any introduction. Sir Debashish Sen. And one of the best thing about this gentleman, I've been following him for a long time, and not only that, there is a deep respect in my mind for the gentleman who practically created real smart city in Bengal. And when I was looking at him, a person without any blink of his eyes, he is implementing things within Bengal. So ke bole je bangla kichu hoy na. He is the guy who actually created that entire dream to happen. So my first question to you would be, sir, we know Debashish Sen as a IAS officer. We know that he is the guy who run the entire state. But sir, we don't know who is Debashish Sen inside.
Well, if I go back to my school days, I was always a very shy person, and my parents tell me that when my elderly relatives used to come, I used to go away to avoid talking to them. And but we had a very good close group in Presidency College where I studied. It was not named Presidency University in those days, and we had a very group, and we are still in touch. There is a WhatsApp group. Most of them live out of Kolkata, some in US, some in thing, but we are a very close group. My introverted small thing changed with two things. Number one, getting into the IS, the cultural shock, and then get into a training institute in Harvard University where they taught me that you have to ask. If you don't ask, you will not get the answers. So that was very a great way that enabled me to change and come out of my shell.
So do you feel that a person who is an introvert have got more creativity than a common extrovert person?
Well, I would say it slightly with a small twist, in that sense that the shy, introverted person, if he has talent, there is less sense of discovery. So he has to speak out. But if he doesn't have talent, what to do? That's a different matter. But if you have a talent, but you are not speaking, you are not talking, you are not asking questions, then people will not discover the diamond within you.
Sir, I've seen you executing things. I've seen how you implemented the entire smart cycle. So I was there in Singapore. I've seen such kind of services. You go there and then you pick up a cycle, and then stand it somewhere. You go out. Nobody will take your cycle because it's already tagged. But you are the first person who implemented that in Newtown initially. Not only that, I still remember you are the creator for the entire HITCO, plus the Eco Park, and of course the Wax Museum. If I may take the liberty, you are the person who actually created the entire infra. So how do you get that energy, and from where all these kind of information comes to you?
Well, about the cycle track, if I may say so, I was in France for 1 year for my training. And I would say also right now that youngsters must go out and see the world. And this cycling experiment I saw all over Europe and later in Amsterdam. So since I was there in Newtown and this was a new city being planned, and we had this goal of sustainable development. So we thought that if we could urge the youngsters actually to go not for pleasure but from origin destination through cycling, they are capable, they do exercise, and why not? The fear I discovered was that their parents were not allowing because of fear of accidents. So we had to have safe cycle passage. So that is how I thought about the European model and built the cycle tracks and the app cycles, which are still operating. But I dare say, because of the cultural hangover that, successful people write in Mercedes and unsuccessful people go in newspaper hawkers. We are not Norway where the Prime Minister also do cycling. This behavioral change I was not able to bring out. I think it will take time, but eventually a lot of people, you go on any Sunday to Eco Park Ring Road, so many people are coming for cycling. I know a film star who comes from Goriahat with a cycle on top of her car and brings it to Eco Park and does a cycling route. So it is catching up, and we laid the lanes, and I think it was a good thing.
Wow. So if we look at Indian administrative service, uh, being in a chair in those kind of position, what is your exact roller coaster ride? I'm sure it was not that smooth. If you can share me some of the incidents which is probably people don't know, and you have taken a very hard decision which you have to take, and that created some big buzz in the market.
Well, being in the IS is an absolutely fantastic experience. Make no mistake out of it. And the main point is that you get so much different tastes of the government. Sometimes you look at agriculture, sometimes you look at elections, sometimes you look at urban development, IT, so on and so forth. So this is one wonderful thing. And the second thing is that everything, though it's very exciting, you got to have a bumpy ride. Sometimes these bumps come up. One of my most depressing times came when in the eco park that you referred to right now, there's a huge lake. And one little girl, aged 9 years, had walked into the mothers, the guardians were busy talking somewhere else, and she lost her life. So that was a very, very bad experience for me. In fact, an FIR was lodged against me in the Thana that you have not taken precautions, that's why the child died. But that is a different matter. So such disasters do happen, and even larger disaster when I was a Mela officer in Gangasagar quite some time back, a whole ship capsized, and that 100 people lost their lives. 100 people. For days we were on the water along with the police, with the helicopter, with the navy trying to retrieve them. So these kinds of incidents do occur which leave and move you. But at the end, you try to do your best. You can't fight the adversity itself, but you try that it does not get repeated. For example, after the Eco Park drowning, we had, by that time AI was coming in. So we geofenced the entire area. So the CCTVs, whenever somebody is going near the water body, the CCTVs will flash signals to the control room, to the security officer, and to the nearest guard that somebody is approaching the danger zone, he should be taken away.
Wow. So looking at these kind of position and such kind of decision, if I look at someone's career, irrespective of the fact they are coming from probably arts background or science background, they have to take decision which is mix of logic, art, commerce, everything. So what are the top 3 qualities for a IAS officer you feel that should have, which can lead them to a better person plus great IAS officer?
Two things. If you are wanting to get into the IAS by writing the UPSC, you require one kind of skill set. You see, this is one of the things when I appeared for the UPSC way back in 1985, appearing in the board, 7 members facing you, all kinds of questions from Rabindranath to Einstein, and you don't know where the next attack will come from. That was one experience. And later on, towards the end of my career as a sitting IAS officer, I was in the same Dholpur House UPSC house, and I was on the other side of the table as a part of the interview team. And then I really got to know how good and well prepared this new generation youngsters are. We were self-taught. I never got into any institute and licked there, and you got it in. I got it in second attempt, but got it. I was there in the bank and doing my job as a PO in SBI. Mil gaya. So that was a great thing. But nowadays I find everybody is professionally coached. So everybody is so well prepared that it's very good to see this kind of thing. So the only point I'm making is you got to prepare. You got to study hard. And not only study hard, you have to look around you. The first question when somebody came, the chairman of the board asked when I was there on the part of the board was, what do you know about the Bhutan aggression by China? We hardly think of it. So whatever. And the other thing that you asked is, what do you expect or how to make a good officer, like everywhere? I think one of the first things that is required is empathy, not physics, chemistry, mathematics knowledge. Empathy for the less privileged. This is extremely important. And ethics and a belief for the basic integrity of human beings and ability to reach out. You can't make a difference. You just spoke of the smart city and the projects. You have to take your team along, but there is a small difference between a corporate thing and a government thing. Government thing is naturally the CEO of any department is the elected minister. So you have to take him or her also with you. Along with your own juniors, engineers, architects, planners, you have to convince them that this is the best way and why it is so. And you argue and do it. But you also have to convince the political executive that, this is probably the best way. And if he or she gives 1 or 2 suggestions which you think can be accepted, this accommodation is also necessary. So you have to be malleable as well as innovative in order to do things and be successful.
And diplomacy is not easy.
Of course, when I say malleable, that is diplomacy,
Yeah.
in whatever way you call it. Of course, you have to be diplomat. You can't, on the face of the minister, you can't say, I don't agree. The standard answer, there is another way of looking at it. This kind of way. You can't, as in every institution, I guess, you can't scream at your boss, though he is probably talking rubbish.
Right.
So you have to be careful and empathetic also to the seniors. He is saying from a certain point of view, which may be not making sense to you, but the feeling of accommodation, the understanding that this is also coming from his standpoint is something that you should understand and tackle it very, very diplomatically.
So I have seen something for the audience. I have seen something outside of India, which I have seen in Sir's mindset as well. When you talk about AI, for your information, AI is 1953's technology. If you look at technology as a technology, now we are talking about a lot of Gen AI, cognitive AI, and of course some of the algorithms which is super fast nowadays, like Sparrow algorithm. But I have seen you, sir, when you executed the smart city projects. The initial thought and the initial integration that you started is learning on your own and then integrating those things with the hardware which is existing in the market, probably which is not there in India. And I have seen you're buying those hardware which is not there in Bengal. You tested that and then eventually you put your brain into it if that can be executed or not, right? So my question to you would be, where a smart city being done at the moment, it can be any smart city in Bengal or Raipur, whatever. How the exact integration of artificial intelligence happening And what is your opinion? What should be the best way to make a bond between AI and normal people lifestyle?
It's a very, very deep question, and I'm so surprised that you have observed the developments. I thought you were only doing virtual gaming and reality. And I remember talking to you about one of those experiments, thought experiments that I keep on doing. Actually, here is a person who is an authority in VR and gaming. Can I put it in Eco Park? Can I make a game? That time, this game, Pokemon or something was there. So young boys and girls would sometimes get into accidents because they are trying to find out a ball which is visible only in the air. So to come back, how to get new things. I went to ISI for a 3-day blockchain workshop to understand what is this new technology, what is this cryptocurrency, what is a hashtag, so on and so forth. And later, we were the only municipal entity in the whole of India where birth certificate and death certificates were given on a blockchain. We were basically utilizing the immutability of the blockchain. They are once given, you can't say, no, it was wrongly recorded. I am not 26, but I am 23. My mother wrote wrongly. No, it cannot happen in a blockchain. Once done, it's done. So I keep on the emerging technology, and it helped because I was the IT secretary as well as the chairman of HITCO. So here was the concept. I was in touch with people like you, and here was the lab where the whole city is growing up looking at the future. So this was happening, and I would always try to experiment new things. And one of the great things which I could not complete to completion, these days we are talking about it again, is creating NFTs, non-fungible tokens, again on a blockchain, not AI, but for land parcels.
Right.
If we have a land market that is clearly identified by a small cryptocurrency kind of a thing.
You're talking about utility tokens, sir?
I'm talking about utility tokens, NFTs, but with land, which is a very, very difficult kind of a thing. So then people can come and buy. And about use of AI, we did at that time, Gen AI was not there, LLMs were not there, but yet we did a lot of experiments with CCTVs and an artificial intelligent interface. I remember Videonetics, which is a very, very notable thing, a notable organization in Newton itself. I went to the lab, I talked to the founder and asked him how he can help us. And this is how we had that geofencing of the eco park. And we did during the COVID, you were mentioning about COVID. We created through CCTVs, anybody who is not wearing a mask, voice message alert would go to him that, sir, you are not wearing a mask. So that creates a behavioral changes, and passers-by will see and notice you, and you quickly put out your mask and do it. So we were doing a lot of experiments, and if your solid waste has not been collected on time, if your street light is not working, if there is a pothole in your road, a lot of pilot experiments we have done. But I think now the future smart cities should be autonomous. I mean, this light is not working, it is there in the control room, we call it command and control room. But can we automatically trigger a replacement so that, the engineer will look at it, he will log, and what's the fun? So instead of a post-mortem, when there was a run over by a truck of a student near the Alia University, with the CCTV footage, the truck driver was caught. For 3 days, the road was blocked. Students would not allow anybody to go because one of their students had been run over by a speeding truck. So after, with all these CCTVs, one or two were not working, and the police did an inquiry whether it was sabotage, that apart. So what I'm saying is that with these technologies, we were able to apprehend post facto. But nowadays, increasingly worldwide, and also in Kolkata police, predictive policing is also coming. Predictive traffic management is coming.
Right. And if we look at RWA, the real world asset, maybe you know me as a game development and virtual reality guy. I entered into blockchain in 2016, did some good work in the world. 2018, I was predicting something which is connecting the real world with the crypto world. Nowadays, we call it as a RWA. And you rightly said, the NFT part, if that can be connected with land, it's a massive boom that can happen. What is your thought? It's a probably a futuristic question, and I know only you can answer this. What if we have plants, we have trees, and that has got an NFT, and that can be tracked? What are the kind of fruit that can actually produce within a per square meter range? Now, assuming some people are owning it. So blockchain by default, you can't own a particular area. It's always shared with
In the public domain.
What if we combine the private and public, both the blockchains coming together, and we decentralize the entire method? Do you feel farmers will get a lot of benefit? Do you feel government will get a lot of benefit? And do you feel the third part of it? Do you feel that that can yield to a better treatment of plants and we can maybe go for organic?
I would say that about the farmer part, certainly they would benefit because they are accessing the market directly. The actual price prevailing at that point of time today, exactly, let us say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, what is the price of a guava, and he can sell it there. So no question. Government will of course gain because tax, you can't, the GST, if you are getting it at 10 rupees, you have to pay 18% GST. So that GST recovery would also very good. But I'm slightly skeptical about improving the entire ecosystem in terms of organic farming and other things because the cost of infrastructure would be very large. Like in AI data centers, blockchain also requires, if you are thinking of mining coins, it's hugely energy intensive. And the infrastructure cost, and very few people know how to run it properly. So if you can handle the cost, I think it's a win-win situation.
So there is a good possibility.
It can be done and it should be done, definitely. And but yes, we have to look at experts also.
So when we talk about these kind of experts and innovation, here comes probably another question. What is the actual challenge that we face in Bengal when we talk about innovation, when we talk about entrepreneurship? And I personally believe without innovation, entrepreneurship doesn't exist. It becomes a business, it becomes a trading, which is okay. So what is the exact challenge today's startups or SMEs they face?
You see, unfortunately, what I've seen, I interact with a lot of startups. I am an advisor or, some kind of a club, or I get invited. What I've seen is that there are two types of startups essentially in Kolkata and Bengal. I'm not talking about Bangalore or other places. Number one is get awards only. You develop, you pitch, you get an award in a hackathon. And when I, as a judge, ask him, okay, so why don't you commercialize? No, I have to give it to another hackathon, I'm going. So there's this competition circuit. There are certain people who are specializing only on that without meaning to really do a good innovative business. So that's slightly disappointing. I was at least disappointed on hearing this response. And the other thing is that it's mostly some kind of a copycat.
Yes.
Either it's working in China or in Bangalore or in Russia, you cut and paste, but that don't work in India.
Yeah.
The Indian context is different. You have to understand the Indian psyche. Really innovative in the Indian context, I can name other than Wow Momo, which everybody gives. I think MyGate, for example, is an application and a startup. I believe it was a retired army brigadier or somebody who, after retiring from that level, he sat and slept as a security guard in a housing complex to understand what kinds of issues come in the Indian context at a gate. The Amazon delivery boy is coming, the elderly person's driver is coming, and your auntie and uncle is coming, students are coming to get some kind of a training or tuition. The huge complexities in the Indian context. completely to be understood at the grassroots level before you launch a product. So identifying the problem in the Indian context is very important, which today's startups sometimes try to take a shortcut. If they can overcome that, I think there's a lot of promise in this sector.
So funding or bootstrap, which one do you prefer?
I believe initially you have to start bootstrap, nobody will give you money, but it helps. I know also, while I said that some people are pirating ideas, there are also very, very talented young boys and girls who have brilliant ideas, but they can't even start anywhere in lack of funds or the ability to think that I will get the funds I need to stay on track. Many people get disappointed, open a momo shop, and vanish into the crowd.
So meaning if they can get the right kind of market access, things can be more rosy?
Absolutely. Market access is one thing these people lack a lot. And especially if it is B2B, which I think is a much, much easier way of starting a startup rather than B2C. There are 1.4 crore people of India of all kinds, from very poor to the very rich like the Ambani. How do you reach them? But B2B, somebody is already making a silicon chip and you supply the wafer board. Just an example. So these days, everything is done in various parts. My iPhone, for example, is built in 32 countries, parts of it, and assembled in China or India, perhaps. The point I'm making is that B2B is very easy to penetrate if you can convince and produce the thing. Our startups are not very geared. They're not exposed how to understand the corporate world and their needs. This is a problem.
So this is, I think, end of the podcast, but I'll go for a rapid fire round. Is it okay, sir?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Kolkata or Darjeeling?
Kolkata.
Books or technology?
Tech.
Early morning, late night?
Early morning, without doubt.
Tea or coffee?
I like tea, but coffee wins.
Policy or excellence?
Policy.
Okay. Discipline or creativity?
Both.
Usually this is out of syllabus question, sir. Imagine that you are in a park, sunny day, beautiful birds are singing here and there. It's an empty park, all greenery. There is only one bench. You are there, and if I ask you to sit there with someone, you can take only one person. It can be anyone from your life, or maybe you want to meet someone or dead or alive. Who that person will be and what kind of conversation you want to have with him or her or it.
Yes, this is completely out of syllabus. I will be personal in this case. The more I grow up, the more I miss my parents. And if I had a chance, and I would certainly talk to my mother, who is no more, who has been instrumental in motivating me to join in the IAS. And in the present life, if you give me, you said one person you can talk to. What is the second person? I would definitely call Urmila, my wife, who has been a constant source of support to me.
Sir, thank you so much for coming. And in our culture, we do namaskar because it is nama te nama. Your brain, my brain comes together to a greater goodness. Namaskar to you, sir.
Namaskar. And I wish you all the best, even through your podcast. I believe that the future of esports is here with you in the lead.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Easy now. Stay calm. All right. Let's walk.